Hi there everybody, Jack here again at the Vinyl Voyage. So how many times have you heard people say, yeah, they're a pretty good band, but I prefer the early stuff? Or, yeah, no, after the first few albums, I didn't really like them so much. So it is true that the majority of bands and artists, generally speaking, their early stuff is usually the best. But sometimes with some of our elder statesmen, as they move through their career, they sometimes have that purple patch again at the end of their career, where they come up with this late career masterpiece. And that's what I'm going to look at today. Some bands and artists who produce some of their best work at the end of their career. So first up then is an album that I was after for a while. Love Warren Zevon, and I think this is one of his best albums. It's called The Wind. He released this in 2003. I think it was released just a couple of weeks before he died. He started recording this when he found out that he was diagnosed with cancer linked to asbestos. So it was like a lung cancer linked to asbestos. And instead of kind of going down the route of looking for different treatments and trying to cure it, he put all of his energies into one last creative statement. And what a statement it is, it's absolutely brilliant. It starts off very reflective, looking at Warren Zevon's past. We had, a kind of hard living life, especially in the early days. It's the first song on here is Dirty Life and Times. He does a great cover of Knocking on Heaven's Door, where he's a lot of the albums him reflecting on his impending death. And the closer on here is just like one of the most beautiful, saddest songs I think that I've ever heard, Keep Me in Your Heart. So, through his career, Warren Zevon had made a lot of friends along the way, and they all come out to support him on this, his final album. So, it's got everybody from Springsteen. In fact, we'll have a look. Springsteen's on here. Emmylou Harris does backing vocals. You've got Ry Cooder playing slide guitar on Prison Grove. Billy Bob Thornton does backing vocals on a number of tracks, as does Dwight Yoakam. Jim Keltner plays drums on the majority of the album. But yeah, it's just really, really, really good. Tom Petty as well, backing vocals. Don Henley plays drums. Yeah, it's just such a good album, and really sad in places, but what a way to go out putting together an album like this. I think let's say it's one of his best albums. So yeah, that's Warren Zevon. So next up then is the UK's best kept secret, the fantastic Michael Head. And this is Michael Head and the Red Elastic Band with Dear Scott, his little tip of the hat to F. Scott Fitzgerald. So if you don't know about Michael Head, he's an absolutely amazing songwriter, influenced by Arthur Lee predominantly. He's a massive fan of Arthur Lee. Toured with him in 1992 as his backing band when he was playing with Shaq. But he started like 38 years ago with the band Pale Fountains, who were like kind of bossa nova, kind of really poppy, offbeat indie band. They produced two great albums. Pacific Street was really, really good. The first one, they had that great single, Jeans Not Happening, but they had lots of critical acclaim, but not really any commercial success. And that was the same for Shaq, his next band. Really, really great band. HMS Fables, fantastic. So is Water Pistol. Here's Tommy the Weather's my favourite one. Again, lots and lots of critical acclaim, no commercial success. Then he did a little solo project, again with his brother John Head, a few other guys, called The Magical World of the Strands. Another absolutely amazing album. Again, no commercial success. So he's had a couple now with the Red Elastic Band. This is his 9th kind of studio release, and this is just absolutely brilliant. It's produced by Bill Ryder Jones, who used to be in the Coral, and he seems to have a magic little affinity with him, because he seems to really understand him as a writer, and he's put on all these great kind of love sounding strings and brass onto this record. It's just really is a late career masterpiece, and for once he seems to be getting that little bit of commercial success along with his critical acclaim. This won Mojo's Album of the Year in 2022. Just really good stuff. But there's another guy who's had to fight his demons over the years. He was a heroin addict for a number of years, and big into alcohol as well, but he seems to have come through all of that and just produced this great late career masterpiece. So he's about to put out another album. I think is it called Ciao Bambino or is that the single? I've got it in pre-order anyway. That's again produced by Bill Ryder Jones, so that comes out I think sometime in March. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, absolutely amazing. If you've not heard him, he doesn't seem to be really well known outside of the UK, but definitely if you like kind of alternative music or just amazing songwriting, you've got to check out Michael Head. Such a good album, this. So next then is Leonard Cohen with You Want It Darker from 2016 on Columbia Records. So this was released 49 years after 1967's Songs of Leonard Cohen, his first album. So you know what a career he's had, 14 studio albums, and this was his last one, and what an album it is. It was another high point for Leonard Cohen, starting off with that amazing opening track, You Want It Darker, with that great bass line. I think it won a Grammy, that song. The next song is my favourite though, Treaty. So good, you know, with all the strings. And then I like the string reprise Treaty at the end, number 9. But you know, this album, again, like Warren Zevon's, it kind of reflects on Leonard Cohen's mortality, how he's kind of accepting death and he's ready to move on, looking back at his life and the amazing life that he's had. Surprised that he'd only released 14 studio albums, but I suppose he had that big 10-year hiatus where he was away studying Buddhism with the Zen Buddhist monks. But yeah, what a fantastic album to leave us with. Absolutely love You Want It Darker. Again, just a real high point in Cohen's amazing career. So next then is Peter Perrett and How the West Was Won. So I'm a massive Only Ones fan, but I was absolutely obsessed with this album when it came out in 2017. So on Domino Records, I just listened to it over and over again. Like I said, really love the Only Ones, but I think this is a massive late career high. The songwriting on it is brilliant. He's another guy, I suppose, who's had his demons in the past. He's battled back from crack and heroin addiction and come out fighting the other side. Again, like the Leonard Cohen album, this was produced by Perrett's son, Jamie, and the backing band that he's got behind him as well. I think it was Jamie's band, Strange Fruit, that back him. But I think the production's really tasteful. It really brings out the best in Peter Perrett and the songs, but the songs are great. How the West Was Won's got like that kind of Sweet Jane vibe about it, lovely kind of slide guitar in it. An Epic Story's a song for his wife. That's my favourite song in the album. The other one's like Man of Extremes, which kind of harks back to him reflecting on his problems with addiction and that kind of thing. But yeah, every song on here is brilliant. But if you have a wee look, it's on this nice red vinyl. It's a really well put together. It's a really well put together album. But the thing that makes it for me is the lyrics. I'll just read a few of those in a wee second. Nice inside cover. It came with this booklet as well, with some nice photos from the studio and the lyrics as well. But the opening track, How the West Was Won, kind of covers his life in America and how he sees the world going, I suppose. But I really like the lyrics in here. If I ever get really depressed, I'll download Tor, buy a suicide vest, leave a dirty bomb at a Wall Street address, gate crash a Rothschild's party and leave it in a mess, in a dirty mess. Other like cool little nods to pop culture. Just like everybody else, I'm in love with Kim Kardashian. She's taken over from J-Lo as my #1, even though I know she's just a bum. In another timeline, I would have stared at her all day long without ever wanting to see her from the front. God knows I love America. Yeah, it's a really cool album. If you like the Only Ones, I know that Peter Perrett, for a lot of people, his voice kind of splits opinion, but I like it. I think it always sounds really cool. And when he did the gigs for this album, he still wore his shades on stage. So yeah, even as an elder statesman, he still looks like a cool guy. He's following up to this, Human World's good as well, but for me, not quite as good as How the West Was Won. So next up, The Boss, We Shall Overcome, the Seeger Sessions from 2006 on Columbia. This is like 33 years since his debut, his 14th studio album, and what a late career masterpiece this is. I know that he didn't write the songs; they're mainly traditional songs that he's rearranged, some Pete Seeger numbers as well. But it's just the way that he's put it all together. You know, the band that he had behind him playing all these traditional instruments are just absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's got so many great songs that have kind of, I suppose, the songs that have inspired him through his life. Old Dan Tucker, Jesse James, all these old civil rights songs. Mrs. McGrath's like an old Irish folk song. John Henry, I love Erie Canal, Jacob's Ladder. Shenandoah's really good as well. Like one of the best songs in the album. Of course, We Shall Overcome. But yeah, really love this. A great package. The thing I like about We Shall Overcome is how much fun it sounds like Springsteen and the band are having on it. It's like on a double LP, but yeah, it's just, that's a great picture. Just a great Americana album, I suppose, but yeah, it just sounds like so joyous, like they're having so much fun playing on it, and I just really wish that I'd got to see Springsteen play live in the Seeger sessions. I've seen some of the videos. I think there was like a documentary movie made about him and that tour, and it just looked absolutely phenomenal. So I am jealous of anybody who got to see that. So 33 years since Blur's debut album Leisure. It's hard to believe that it's only 9 albums later that they come out with The Ballad of Darren. This was 2023 on Parlophone. That album title was inspired by the roadie Darren. But I think I really like this. It's the thing I like about it is they've done a great job, I think, of keeping that kind of Blur sound. Like Graham Coxon's guitar is still fantastic. And it still sounds youthful, the music, but the lyrics come from like a more mature place where they're kind of looking back over their lives as they've matured over the years, and I suppose as an extension of that, they're fans as well. But yeah, if you're of a certain age, late 40s to early 50s, I think this would be an album that would speak to you, especially if you were kind of around in that kind of Britpop period. But some great songs on here. The Ballad's great, Barbaric I really like, The Narcissist. But yeah, I think it's just a little bit more mature. But like I said, you know, only 9 Blur albums over those years, but I suppose Damon Albarn was off doing his different projects like Gorillaz and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, a really great late career highlight. I've shown this before, I think, and I mentioned the fact as well. I'm going to mention that again because I love it. This is my hometown of Gourock, with Dunoon in the background here, and this is the Gourock, the famous Gourock outdoor swimming pool with that lone swimmer. So yeah, I really like that album cover as well, and I like the addition, this little Azzy Obi that Azzy Records always put in their releases. So yeah, that's pretty cool as well. I think I've got it on, yeah, on blue vinyl. So what a career then Nick Cave has had. You know, he's released albums with the Boys Next Door, The Birthday Party, and then obviously all his solo stuff with the Bad Seeds, his solo stuff on his own and Grinder Man. But this one from 2008, I think, is absolutely brilliant. This is on Mute Records. It's Dig Lazarus Dig. And, you know, he'd come off the back of a number of albums that were, you know, more piano-y based. The Boatman's Call and things like the Murder Ballads album. And I think this is just so different. You know, it's really upbeat. It's got a real garage rock feel, which really speaks to me. I love garage rock, but that opener, Dig Lazarus Dig, is just such a great song. We Call Upon the Author, I really like. The thing I really like about this is the organ sound. Like I said, it's got that real 60s driving organ sound to the songs, which I think is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, it's probably my favourite Nick Cave album, and I said, an amazing career. To produce something like this so long into his career is just a massive achievement. So yeah, this is Dig Lazarus Dig, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. So next up then is the amazing Half Man Half Biscuit, the Volterol Years, their 15th studio album from 2022. So I've shown this before, but yeah, I've got to show it again. So good. Probably a career highlight. After 15 albums, 30 odd years, it's just, it's absolutely brilliant. Again, an album, that kind of looks back to childhood and it's quite nostalgic in places, but at the same time also looks a little bit at mortality. But yeah, still with those amazing lyrics. That first song, I'm Getting Buried in the Morning, you know, you kick off an album with a song about a serial killer, which is some of the best lyrics ever. Let me just read you a few of these lyrics. So, that opens up with, bear in mind, it's a song about a serial killer. See you later, Undertaker, in a while, necrophile. I'm getting frazzled in the morning, so get me to the chair on time. That's absolutely brilliant. And I also love, what one is it? Midnight Mass Murder. So it wouldn't be a Half Man, Half Biscuit album without a song about football. And in particular in this one, he's kind of moaning about super dry, wearing part-time fans, where he sings, take your chips and fuck off home. So yeah, having a moan as usual. But yeah, great band out of the Wirral. Half Man, Half Biscuit and the Volterol Years. So I couldn't have put together this late career masterpieces video without showing the masterpiece to beat all masterpieces, and it is of course David Bowie's amazing Black Star, his swan song in 2016. It was released on his 69th birthday, a couple of days after he died. So yeah, really, really good. Produced by Tony Visconti, his long-time producer and friend. He'd got together a little jazz quartet to put this album together in secret. And yeah, it's just an amazing final artistic statement that I think Bowie wanted to deliver to his fans. But yeah, it's really, I wouldn't pick out any songs. It's just one of these albums that sounds like perfect as a whole. It's like experimental, it sounds avant-garde. Obviously with that jazz quartet, it's got that jazz influence, it's still got that Bowie art rock feel to it. But yeah, just absolutely brilliant album, and what a way to finish David Bowie's Black Star from 2016. So that finishes my late career masterpieces video. There was another couple that we're going to add in, albums that I think are really, really great, late career ones, but aren't really critically acclaimed, so I never put them in. One of them, I'm a massive fan of the Pixies' Indie Cindy, but I left that out because I thought I might get lynched if I added that one in. That seems to be panned by everybody. I don't know why. I think it's really, really good, and some others. But hey ho, if you've got other late career masterpieces, other great albums that came later in careers that you want to share, please put them in the comments. I'd love to check them out myself if I've not heard them. Otherwise, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, please do so. Other than that, I will see you in the next one. See you later. Bye now.